Hi there, my name is Riley Henson. I developed CRS Horseshoes. I don't use the term invented because that implies a bolt of lightning or something, and there was no bolt of lightning. It was just decades of learning from countless other people and countless horses. A little bit about me. My grandparents had a ranch in Colorado. That's where I grew up. One of my first jobs was at the racetrack. I galloped horses and cleaned stalls and did what I had to do there. But there was a horseshoer there named Frank Butts that was kind enough to take me under his wing and taught me to pull and finish and got me started. And before I knew it, I was the apprentice, and I worked for him for about 5 years, and then we worked an additional 10 years together after that. And after my career was over at the racetrack, I always wanted to devote my energy and intentions towards lameness and therapeutic shoeing. So I knew if I was going to do that, I was going to have to get good at fabricating shoes and making bar shoes. And so in 2005, I passed the certified journeyman's test from the AFA, and I began to think that that was what I needed to do to be good at shoeing those kind of horses. I used every kind of bar shoe and every combination you could think of. I used a lot of aluminum wedges, pour ends, you name it. I used it, but I was always disappointed in the results because it was counted as a success if you kept a horse from getting worse for a while, and that was about the best you could hope for. And so a couple of years ago, I started toying with the idea of medial lateral self-adjustment shoe. So I just made a straight bar shoe. This is one I made a couple of years ago. It's been in my shoe pile. But I just made a straight bar shoe, and then I forged this arch in the back of it. And what this does is it allows the horse to find a comfortable medial lateral plane. And so this shoe has some limitations. I probably shod, I don't know, I'm going to say 35, 45 horses, something like that in this version, and it takes a fair amount of fabrication skills, and it's just not very efficient time-wise. And it also adds a wedge, and sometimes you don't want to do that. So I decided to work on a pourable urethane composite version. And this is about the 10th version of this shoe that I have come up with, but this is the latest one. And I found that horses with navicular and ringbone and that sort of thing responded well. And when you're thinking about shoeing a horse like that, you're thinking about him being in motion and what helps a horse in motion. And that's not what this shoe does. First, it allows the horse, while he's at rest, to find that medial lateral plane that's most comfortable for him. And what I found out after I used the shoe a while, what it does is it resolves the diagonal pressure. If you see a horse with navicular, a lot of times they'll point one front foot and then the other one. And when they're doing that, they're not only reducing the tension on the deep flexor apparatus, they're equalizing the tension on the collateral ligaments. And so what this shoe does is it allows the horse to equalize that pressure on the collateral ligaments and still put some weight on it. So a lot of times when you find a horse that's ringbone, well, navicular more than anything, they'll have a toe first landing. And what happens, young horses a lot of times nowadays are raised in confinement, and so they don't develop that digital cushion like they normally would in nature. So they try to protect that heel, and they begin to land toe first, and that's a detrimental cycle that leads to bad places. So you've got to find an intervention on those kind to make them comfortable enough to where they begin to land heel first, or at least land neutral. So what I do on this shoe is I apply this little tab here in the back, and this adds a little bit of wedge. So if you have a horse with a broken back hoof pastern axis, diagnosed with navicular, you're probably going to have a lot better luck if you apply this wedge. And oftentimes, when I have a horse that's toe first landing, I'll apply this wedge to the shoe, have this appliance on there a couple, 3 cycles, and then the horse begins to land heel first and neutral, and then you can really expect things to get better. If you can produce a horse that's landing heel first, that was landing toe first, you've got a really good chance to make some strides as far as him getting better. The other thing I do with a ringbone horse, a lot of times they'll prefer a little bit of a delayed breakover. If you have one of these cross-check devices from the ELPO people, they're really valuable. I highly recommend them. But a ringbone horse will almost always like this toe elevated just a little bit and a delayed breakover. So with that in mind, I put this tab here at the toe and provide that delayed breakover just a little bit. And a lot of those horses, in conjunction with the diagonal pressure that you've relieved and then the delayed breakover, a lot of those ringbone horses really seem to do well. The other thing, when I'm putting these tabs on here, it's necessary to pre-drill these holes. Like these are sheet metal screws, and I use these for traction. I use these all the time if you need traction or horses on the ice or something like that. I use these sheet metal screws for that. These are 14 3/4 inch long. They work really well. They almost never will come all the way through. Of course, if they come through the back, you got to grind that off. But so I use a 3/16 drill bit to pre-drill where I'm going to put these sheet metal screws, because in this composite, the sheet metal screw won't bite down if you don't pre-drill. So 3/16 drill bit on those. The other thing I do is with about a 5/16 drill bit, I drill a hole back here in the back so I can introduce that soft fill in the commissures and put my pour-in material there. And I always use this Farrier's Choice Pack Seal Soft. This is a really good product. It remains soft throughout the duration of the shoeing. I've had the experience with dental impression material that you come back and pull the shoes off and that dental impression material is much too firm in there, and a horse that's sore across his frog, that's going to be counterproductive. So this Farrier's Choice is a really good product. The gun is inexpensive, and I've really been very satisfied with this product. And so after you drill the holes in there, that fits right in there. You can fill the commissures with your soft fill, and then fill it up across the back. One other consideration are the clinchers. A lot of people have these curved jaw clinchers now, and those won't work on these shoes. You have to have a straight jaw clincher, and I even heated this and bent it down a little bit in the vise. These are just the cheapest clinchers that I could find at the feed store, and I bent them down just a little bit, and these work really well. Any straight bottom jaw clincher will work just fine on these CRS shoes. I've got so many people that the horses have improved so much that they want to start riding them again, rope horses that are going back to work. So people needed a shoe that had more traction. So this is the shoe that's in development, and I've got them on several dressage horses, team roping horses, barrel horses that are comfortable enough to go to resume training again. So that's it's a real exciting thing. It's a dream come true to be able to help these kind of horses to the point where they can do what horses and humans should do. They should be able to raise kids. They should be, companions for humans as we get older. It's a crying shame when a horse is in their mid-teens and they're too lame to do what they're supposed to do. So it's a really valuable tool that I think you'll find a lot of benefit from. And there's a lot of ways to go. You can argue the barefoot method with boots, and that's a good, that can be a good way to go. I don't ever want to impose my ideals on a horse and make him suffer for it. So if I need to do something immediately to make that horse comfortable, that's what I'm going to do. And that was the idea behind this shoe, is horses that didn't respond to any traditional shoeing. They no longer responded to the joint injections. I felt like I needed to find another avenue that helped those kind of horses. And what it appears like is when you remove and resolve that diagonal pressure that's present in a lot of cases, a lot of good things can happen. So if you have a horse that you're having problems with, that you can't find a good solution for a lameness problem, give me a call, send me an email. My email address is cjf.riley@gmail.com, and my phone number is 505-716-1800. Thanks. Be in touch and say your prayers. Thanks for watching. Bye.